Unless you want to do big screen, I don't care. Big screen. I started to laugh. I see that it says, due to technical difficulties, tonight's show will be airing live on Wednesday. The biggest technical difficulty I had was I had a screw. You saw that screw. It was the size of freaking California in my tire.
No joke. It was like,
my question is, what do you use a screw that big for? What?
I don't want to know.
Seriously, what do you use a 12-inch screw for in construction? I don't know.
9 minutes until showtime.
I don't know either.
And it was in half. The screw was
in half.
I held it together to send you the picture.
Holy smokes.
The tire broke it in, the screw was in half. I don't know. I don't know how you do that kind of stuff. Thank God for Midas. Thank God for my little boys at Midas that take care of me. And you know, the manager called me this morning and said, you were here last night. What happened? I'm like, there's a screw in my tire. I said, it wasn't a screw. I don't even think it wasn't a screw. It was like a 12-inch weapon. It was a weapon. It wasn't a screw. That thing was huge.
Until showtime.
So what's coming up? So you have been very busy. You had your birthday weekend.
Yes, I celebrated my anniversary around the sun.
The ghost.
Did another investigation out at Trevelyan Station, and that was a big success.
And your beach, and you went to the beach.
Yeah, went to the beach 4th of July. What did you do? How's your pool?
I didn't do anything. The pool is beautiful. The pool has never looked prettier. I'll take pictures for next week.
It's gorgeous.
It's warm. It's actually it's so hot. I mean,
gorgeous. Until showtime.
The pool is about, I would say it's 85 degrees. The water.
Wow.
It's hot here. Well, it's been a hot summer, but it rained all weekend. So we're not in any drought type of a situation like a lot of the rest of the country. So we're lucky. We're very, very lucky. We've been getting a lot of rain. But it's been hot. It's always hot. It's freaking summer. So that's it.
I can do this real quick before I hang on.
So who do you have on next month? Oh, I don't. That's really the weirdest thing of you. That thing is kind of so weird. It's creepy.
Until showtime.
It's creepy.
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 I'm trying.
Creepy. We're working. Everything is working tonight because I have the magic necklace on that's not going to have any issues. I put on my good luck necklace.
Let's see.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything.
Now I was going to try to share, but
don't touch anything right now. We're working. Don't touch anything.
That's not going to do it. So
we're okay.
Okay.
Did you do it?
No, I can't.
Do it on my phone.
The travelers page is set to
5 minutes until showtime.
We got on early tonight.
Yep.
So it's exciting. Next weekend we have here we go. My book is autographed though. Is your book autographed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I made it.
My book is autographed. Is it backwards? When I hold it up, is it backwards?
No, it's perfect.
Why is it when you hold other things up, they're backward? Your hands are
I know
backward.
it's so weird. When I
This
point
way.
this way, I'm pointing to my right,
I'm pointing
but it's
to
aiming
my
at
left.
I'm using my right hand to point. So, well, no.
But why? Okay, so when we point weird, it's opposite. But when you hold up a book, it's
4 minutes
normal.
until showtime.
It's perfect.
Does that
Yeah, I
make
made
any
I
sense?
made a point for him to get him to autograph it for you while he was at the Paracon.
He's handsome. He's a handsome young man. How to
He's
be a
still over
paranormal
in
detective.
He's still over in the UK
UK.
doing lectures.
Is he going to be calling in from the UK?
No, he'll be getting back the 25th and then coming on the show 26th.
He's going to be jet lagged.
He's
They had all
excited.
those horrific. You should reach out to him because they had all those horrific, over 450 fires yesterday in London. Is he in London? You should reach out and make sure he's okay.
They were going to Wales, different places.
Until showtime.
Wales, different places in England, some castles, a ton of places.
England is still back on my bucket list to go back to because I just fell in love with it. There are certain places that I have been that I just fell in love. And then I'm like, I'm coming back.
I think I want to take a month and go over there for the first time. And just
go to
hit all
Ireland, Ireland, Scotland, London. Oh, there she is. Hi, Renee. How are you?
Hi, Renee.
I'm so excited. I am excited. We are too, because I had technical difficulties last night, but I ran over a screw. Well, I didn't run over the screw. Matt ran over the screw.
2 minutes until showtime.
Mom ends up having to get everything fixed because that's what moms do. Right?
I can only imagine you were hot.
Oh, yeah, because I vented to you. Libras, that's one thing Libras really don't vent. We don't really get mad. It takes a lot to get a Libra mad. Really, it does. And
howdy.
The Libra got mad, but then I saw the screw and I was like, well, there are certain things you just can't have. Thank you to Sheri Lynn because you saved the day. You jumped in, you fixed everything, you got everything switched over in like 5 minutes. You were like, boom, 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 boom. You got everything done. And yeah, it takes a lot to get us mad. But,
1 minute until showtime.
So, and we have a new banner tonight. We're showing off our new banner, and hopefully, the temp is 105 with this humidity and water rationing. Oh no, water rationing. Stay safe down there, Texas girls, and stay cool.
Holy smokes. And with rolling blackout too. Good gosh.
God love them. We need to all just do a rain dance for them. Get them some rain down there.
No kidding.
Oh, God love them. They've had more issues. Remember that it's yucky right. Yeah, it's hot up here too, but we're not having what Texas is, that terrible drought.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Saturdays at 5 for special events and verification. Join us as we produce the best on the net today. Be a part of this mission. Network intro by Robert Smith. Find Robert's Music Today on Facebook and YouTube. And now for the featured show.
Charming, grand, elegant, and memorable. A word best used to describe Belgrove Plantation Bed and Breakfast, located along the banks of the Rappahannock River in King George County, Virginia. Built in 1791, Belgrove Plantation was the birthplace of our fourth president and founding father, James Madison. This historic mansion features 4 luxurious master suites with views overlooking the Rappahannock River and plantation. Spacious accommodations, fresh air, and breathtaking sunset views of the river and plantation await you. Whether you're looking for the perfect location for your wedding, anniversary, corporate retreat, seminar, or romantic getaway, Belgrove Plantation provides a year-round destination with unique venues and events. For more information on reservation, date availability, events, and scheduled tours, visit our website at www.belgroveplantation.com. or call 540-621-7340. Again, that's 540-621-7340.
Welcome to True Crimes, Mysteries Behind the End. And now your host of the evening, Joe Templeton Skinner, Christy Goins, and co-hosting Sherry Lynn.
Good evening. Welcome to a Wednesday edition of True Crime Mysteries Beyond the Veil. And as you can see in the comments, I had the quote unquote technical difficulties last night. And with a live show, things like this can happen, but I had like a 12-inch screw in my tire and I was sitting at minus. And when you're live, I think everything that could happen in the past year that I've been with direct radio on live radio, it's probably happened. Oh God, we better see if we can just postpone till tomorrow evening. And Miss Sherry Lynn, of course, had that done within 5 minutes while I was screaming and panicked on the phone to her. So thank you, Miss Sherry Lynn. You're a lifesaver. And of course,
You're most welcome.
Our director, Howie O'Dell, who's the best ever, who it's like, calm down. And he's so sweet. He sent me a text last night. I'm so sorry. It was stressful. And but thanks everybody for reaching out too, because everybody was texting me going, are you all right? And I'm like, oh my God, it was this big screw. And they're like, what? I'm like, oh, okay. So thank you, everybody. You're so sweet. I was really touched. So thank you to everybody. It was really, really sweet. We are here tonight for Wednesday evening for Mysteries Beyond the Veil. And I am here tonight with, we all know and love her on Monday evenings on Haunted Tales, my friend and co-host, Miss Sheri Lynn. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great. And I am glad that you are safe and sound and tire fixed. And
Yeah.
I tell you what, after hearing about what happened here locally with the car broke down on the side of the road and what happened, thank God you're safe.
Well, and you know, and I looked up and I'm like, oh man, there's a Pluto opposition. I'm like, Pluto, why? It's Tuesday. Why can't you have an opposition on Wednesday? I mean, I knew. It's just, I'm like, it just shook my head. But everything's fine. Thank everybody for all of your texts. And it was really sweet. I was really touched. And Miss Sheri had a belated birthday because you had a birthday on the 17th of this month. And did you have a great birthday?
2 thumbs up. Yep.
And a wonderful 4th of July at the beach. You've had quite the July.
I've been a busy little monkey.
You have been busy. And then last weekend, she was out investigating again. So she is a busy investigator. She's got the 2 shows here. And thank you for coming on with Mysteries with me. I enjoy it. And we will have a show August 26th for Riff Nation in August. But tonight, and what I would like to talk to everybody about is this. We talked about Dylan Rounds last Tuesday, and Dylan, as you all can remember, went missing up in northwest Utah, you know, right across the border over to Nevada. Aidan Cunes went missing in April within 50 miles of where Dylan Rounds went missing. If you put the 2 boys up next to one another, they favor one another. They're both 19, very young men, dark hair, but at first people said, "Oh, this is connected. 2 boys are missing in the same area," but as time goes on, you know, through investigating and searching and through the families coming out, the 2 cases are not related, not at all. Both as tragic and, you know, but they are not related. So we'll get that straight, because it's like when 2 people young go missing in the same area, and this is very desolate areas, we all start to think, oh my God, is this a serial? What's going on? But it's not. So Aidan Cunes went missing in April. So it's a completely different case. So with that, Sheri Lynn is going to start her introduction into Aidan's case.
Well, let's start. Aidan is a very creative, bright young man from Sonoma, California. And as many of our young people have endured hardships during the pandemic, so did Aidan. He went through a hard breakup with his girlfriend. And at 19, you know, Joni's a mom. I'm a mom.
Yeah.
We've both been 19. You get thrust into, I don't have my parents. I'm an adult now. What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
And it's a struggle.
And you know, Sheri Lynn, it was a struggle with COVID, with our young people too, and the lockdowns. And I think, you know, I know I did it, you know, came out of this, but I think we have to remember too that our young ones, and of course, Aidan is considered an adult. I'm going to call him a young one, our young people went through a lot. If you think about it, this was the first real fear that these children have gone through. And the young people had some adjustment time. And his mother, this is a good boy. Aidan was a good, creative, nice child. They did a vigil at his school, and his teacher and the students. This was a good boy. There were no warrants out for his arrest. There were no drug issues. This was a good young man. Now, at 19, when you go through a breakup, your world is caving in. You're going to have depression and anxiety and issues.
Yeah.
And his mother stated in March of 22, he went on a trip to Washington. And now Aidan is from Sonoma, California. But when his mother stated when he came back from that trip in Washington, she saw changes in his personality. He was a little bit more agitated. He began to develop some paranoia. And it was out of character for him. But she knew, the breakup. And as a mother does, they want to give their 19-year-old room. But she contacted his therapist. And of course, at 19, and we all know this, and at 19, the therapist said, he's got to come to us. Mom, he's an adult. And that's tough when you're a mom and you see changes occur, and what can you do? Your hands are tied. And
it's important, the statistics that you mentioned, because the 44% increase in anxiety and mental issues within young people since 2009 speaks volumes. I mean, that's nearly half the population, and it's already a struggle for these young folks to get out of the computer and learn social skills. And then when they're trapped in a situation with the pandemic, they don't have any opportunity to have social skills. So the people that do see their issues are their families. So it's, your hands are tied as a parent, because you know your child better than anybody else, but you can't do anything to help them because they're above the age of 18.
Correct.
So,
and his mother called around for some therapists. She found a really good therapist. And actually, the last day that she saw Aidan in her California home, Aidan had agreed to go to this new therapist. And she stated that he was looking down at his phone, got a really weird look on his face, and said, "Mom, I have to get out of here. I've got to go for a couple of days. I'm not safe in Sonoma." And he packed some items. He got in his truck, and he left. And so, of course, as any mother would do, she was worried. Aidan spent the night out at a park in his truck. He let his mother know that he was safe. And then he said to his mother, "I'm going to go see Grandma and Grandpa in Salt Lake City, Utah." And his mother was ecstatic about that. Grandma and Grandpa were happy. Aidan sounded happy. So then, of course, Mom is going to breathe this, relief. Everything seemed to have calmed down at that point. So then when Aidan got to Salt Lake City and Grandpa met him at a gas station, Aidan began, exhibiting the paranoia again. And he literally kicked Grandpa out of the car and drove away. Well, with that, his mother started to call around. She said, call the police. So she started to call law enforcement. And he was in Utah. Mom is in California. So this is where it all started. This is at the end of April, where things started to really spiral downhill for his mother. And Aidan just took off from Utah. His mother was frantic. She was calling everybody she could. She was calling law enforcement. And what can they do at that point? Nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know,
I'm
it
gonna
was a
go
very
big screen
bad,
and
just a bad
so
situation.
everyone can see. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And so Aidan's mom called the Salt Lake City police and said this is a psychotic type episode, and she was frantic. She was trying to track Aidan down through bank receipts, through his activity on his card, and Aidan ended up in Wells, Nevada, which is very close to where Dylan Round's incident occurred. So this is a desert town. He checked into a hotel in Wells, Nevada, spent the night, and on April 27th at 6:23 a.m., Aidan checked out of the hotel. And the clerk stated he was a good young man. He was fine. He acted okay. And he came up to the window, was fine, and he started to head south. So again, and then he was sporadically talking back and forth to his mother on the phone. But again, the paranoia was coming into play, and she knew. She had contacted the Nevada Highway Patrol, who put out a be on the lookout for him. So Aidan drove approximately, I think it was about an hour, wasn't it, Sherry Lynn? He left the hotel at 6:23, and at 8 o'clock, he's driving on Highway 93, which there are mountains on either side, and no gas stations, nothing but desert. At 8 a.m., he pulled over onto Highway 93, and he went from Wells, and it's near Curry, Nevada, which is now considered a ghost town. So there on our slides, and if you are listening on Blog Talk or on Spotify, you can go onto our YouTube channel on the Rift Radio and see some of the pictures and slides from Curry. It's a beautiful area. It's mountainous, but boy, there's nothing around. So Aidan pulls over in the highway from Wells near Curry, and he gets out of his truck, leaves the door open. Now remember, his mother has already called the Highway Patrol and said he's having psychotic episodes. I don't know what's going on. He needs help. At 8:50 a.m., a Nevada Highway Patrolman issues a citation because he has pulled over and is checking out Aidan's truck. The car door is open. His wallet is on the seat, and he puts a citation and one of those stickers on the truck, and he locks the car. That's it. And he pulls out. Now, a bystander, a witness, saw Aidan get out of his truck with his guitar. And when the highway patrolman came up, now remember, Aidan is paranoid right now. He ran off and hid from the highway patrolman. And the witness stated that when the highway patrolman left, Aidan ran toward the mountains, which is he went west and ran toward the mountains. Now, a witness saw this. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I was a witness, but if I saw that, activity. I don't know. Now, we did have a case in Florida. This is the second time that I have heard of a case where an officer pulled up to a car, and a young lady down in Florida, her car was actually running on train tracks, car door open. She, of course, is missing, has never been seen. I mean, this has been like 4 or 5 years ago. On train tracks, the car was running. The police officer pulled the car over, locked it, and shut the car off. I think there needs to be something that when somebody pulls over a car and the car door is open, that should be a real red flag that something isn't right.
Right off the bat. I mean, right, to go back, when he said he's not safe in Sonoma, yes, that is true. He said he's not safe. To answer that question, and absolutely, a door open on a vehicle, the police absolutely should have investigated more at that point. Called it in, vehicle left abandoned, ID in the vehicle, no person with the vehicle, and put out some kind of, I mean, there was his ID right there.
Right.
Something should have been done at that point. I'm surprised they didn't impound the vehicle right then and there, and instead of just issuing a citation. The door is open, and
the door was open. And mom had been calling. Apparently, now hindsight is 2020. The communications just didn't get put out there because mom had been frantically calling she was calling the Nevada Highway Patrol. She was calling the Elko County Police, which is that's their jurisdiction as well. But the lines just were crossed with miscommunications. And, it's a shame that we've got silver alerts. We've got amber alerts. Why do we not have young adult alerts or just adult alerts where people are in trouble and they do need help, that people can be on the lookout for an amber?
Get rid of the stigma of mental health issues and, have a, yellow alert or,
right.
A
yellow
alert that there's a mental illness, a mental issue, and this person needs help. They need their medicine.
Yes. And I mean, everybody has like an amber alert on your phone. If that witness, and I agree with Renee, mental awareness alert from in the chat, mental awareness alert. And amber alerts go across my phone. And if you get a mental awareness alert, perhaps that witness could have seen that on their phone. We all have our phones. And, so these are the things that we can learn from and maybe bring awareness to that, because this young man was apparently in a psychotic episode and needed help quickly.
Yeah.
So what happened to go into Aidan's case, what happened is it took 24 hours for the two agencies to get together to realize, that was Aidan's truck. So apparently Elko County, who is also with Dylan's case as well, they went to the scene where the truck was, and after they figured out what was going on, Elko County took over and they pulled out the stops. They really did. They contacted his mother. They started to track Aidan immediately. And what had happened is in this area, the sand and the land is, it's desert. It's very chalky. He was wearing Nikes, which leaves a very distinct pattern. So they could easily tell that they were his shoes, and they could find out easily that he was alone. And what they noticed when they started to track him is that he would take off running, and then he would hide under bushes. He would then, when he would come to certain roads, he would take his shoes off, and then he would put his shoes on. So clearly there were some issues going on with him, and he was running perhaps from search teams, perhaps he was running from, we don't know what, because he needed help. So they tracked him for 10 miles. Oh, he did have his guitar, by the way. They found his guitar at the bottom of the mountain. So he had gotten rid of his guitar and headed up the mountain for safety. And so they brought out a fugitive team, which was a team of 3 people that tracked fugitives, and they were tracking him, and he went 10 miles. They went 10 miles up the mountain. And this mountain, and his mother said at 8 p.m. they tried to ping the phone. And of course, you're in a desolate area where we have pings all over the place and towers. So Verizon had one type of a lone ping at 8 p.m. that night up in that area. And his mother felt that he was trying to get up to the top of the mountain, possibly to get a call out on his phone. So they
Just
brought
out of
in.
curiosity, did anybody investigate his guitar?
I don't know. I don't know if that was returned to his mother or what happened. But I think for the fact that they had they had a witness, that the prints were where he was taken off running, and he was clearly by himself via the prints. And he was running, he was hiding, then he was taking his shoes off, putting his shoes on. And they knew by now, after talking to his mother, that something was wrong. So as far as any type of foul play, they ruled that out immediately. And I think the saddest part of this story is his mother did not know, but after Aidan went missing, she found out that they had changed, the doctor had changed his medication. He was on a new medication, and she went back and thought it was around the March time when he started to act different and show signs. So that's what happened in March with him. And they have a tracking map that is so intense that Elko County did and they had the searchers on 4x4s, they had dogs, and she said they used the rescue dogs in the beginning. Then the following week, they brought out the cadaver dogs. They had infrared planes. The searching is amazing that has gone on for this young man, and they have yet to find him anywhere. They were about to call off the search on Sunday, and up on a mountain, they found additional tracks. And Renee says in the chat, some of those medications can actually make the symptoms worse. Absolutely. And
yes,
I guess,
yes, indeed.
And I guess my question is, when his mother called the therapist and that organization that prescribed that medicine and said, something's wrong with him, did it not sink in? Wait a minute, that's my patient, and we just switched up his medications. I don't know. this is a really unfortunate situation. So you can't really point fingers, but I mean, I asked that question. And I know, yeah, Crystal Infinity said exactly. And, and then we look at situations where they have 70, 80 patients. Who knows? I can't. It's an unfortunate, very unfortunate situation. Again, there are some more where they have continually searched for Aidan since the April time frame. Locals have come out on their 4x4s. They've searched everywhere. So what did we do? Well, we always do. It was very difficult. The road is it's a 2-lane highway. Like I said, desert on either side, and then there's desert area and then a mountainous area. This was also in the springtime, and it was like 40 degrees. It was cold. And he had on a hoodie and a North Face jacket, his mama said. So what we did, and there is Aidan's endangered missing poster, Aidan Cunes, Wells, Nevada. And there was a search 2 weekends ago, I believe. So, Sherry Lynn, do you want to read your clues and then we can go over some of the chart information?
Sure. So I used a couple of different apps that I've got, and started with one app asking for Aidan to tell me what happened, and I got the following words: you, road, and it came up ROAD, but it could also be RODE, and running, which does make sense. He was on a road. He was seen running. Continued with app asking where Aidan is, and got the following words: ourselves, everywhere, kitchen, and physical. When asking to confirm some other information, I got search, and also that when asking where are you, it said state. I started a different app and asking for Aidan to tell where he was, where he is, and I got the word come. I asked several other questions, but it went completely silent. Now, the info that I personally got was rattlesnake, which may be an area, a creek, mountain, I don't know. Prescription drugs.
Yep.
Leather. Rawhide. Mental breakdown. Music, which I didn't realize that he had left a guitar behind. So that was interesting to me. Dirty, sweaty, dry or dried, a cavern, exhausted. That there's something about studying science and very interested in astrology or stars.
That's interesting. I mean, I think, and then, and here, like in Kentucky, we have hollers. So maybe possibly in that area, they might have like Rattlesnake Creek or Creek, or I know there's different, they have so many little different names for all of these little areas. It's like that one I was trying to talk to you about earlier, the cotton area. I mean, every little mountain range and every little area has a different name. Mm-hmm. So, and they have searched them a lot. Those are good clues, Sherry, and you didn't even know about any of this information. And then Sophie got, and again, it might not make any sense to us, but when you piece things together like a puzzle, somebody that's local might say, well, I know where Rattlesnake Ridge is or Mountain is or what have you. I don't know.
Could very well be a
Sophie
nickname
said,
or something, that
sure.
one particular area is like, Rattlesnake Alley or something,
Right.
or Rattlesnake Path,
Yeah.
or,
You don't know. And you've got SHERI, blue canopy of trees, a number 3, 50-gallon drum, machinery, a garage, tall grass, small objects that is glossy, mud, marshy, large pole, and a sign or business with an elephant logo and marble. So when I mapped this, it was hard because I didn't know where he had pulled over onto the road. So I just went a little bit south of Curry. And I mapped it up in Wells when he checked out of his hotel. And one of the lines went straight down to the mountain range where he had taken off to. So it led right to that mountain range from Wells. And that was at 6:53 when he checked out of the hotel at Wells. So those are the areas around the mountain. And apparently they've searched all of those areas. So then I did another mapping of him down in the Curry town, in that little area of Curry. And there are lines that lead right over to the Cherry Creek Mountains, I believe. And those are areas to search up toward the north. And then it's due exactly west from where his car was. And what was interesting is his mother had stated that the last known tracks were at a place with the name Cotton Ridge, and that area, when I pulled it up on the map, is southeast. And sure enough, right where those tracks were, a line went down to the Cotton Ridge area. So that, at least when there is a desert and there's mountains, this map could say, hey, look in these areas. It would give you a place to at least look and go to. And another thing that I did with a mental episode, and Renee says this as well, is on a mental episode, sometimes not consider being tired, thirsty, or cold. His mother stated there were tracks in this area. Could he have flagged somebody down and gotten help? We don't know that. So I took the chart and I extended the lines out. And do you know, sure enough, those lines that went east, one went right to Salt Lake City in the area of around where there's a hospital. I would contact the hospitals in Salt Lake City. Another line went straight up to a city called Logan, and another line went up to a city called Pocatello. And I just extended them out. It didn't go with the math equation that we use on forensic astrology, but I thought he could be possibly in a hospital. We just don't know. What would it hurt to contact Salt Lake City hospitals and say, hey, do you have somebody unidentified there?
A John Doe or someone with no ID.
And that Cotton Ridge is very clear. A line went down there to check, and that's where the last tracks were found. So, this is tough terrain, probably the toughest, I imagine, that they'll ever of course, their search and rescue people are used to this type of terrain, and And Renee said, well,
And
if he
thank
went
and
10 miles in that short amount of time, sounds like he could have made a lot of headway. Absolutely,
and
Renee. And his mother even said that he was 500 feet up.
yeah,
So,
and
this is a young
thankfully
man.
they've had the airplanes going over with the thermal imaging to be able to pick up heat images to be able to see if they could see him, you know, moving about. So
Yeah, it's a shame. And here are the updates for Aidan Cunes information. You can check out the Elko County Facebook page. The sheriff's office has a Facebook page. They have updates. There's a private Facebook group that you can join to keep up with Aidan's story on Facebook. If you're in the area, his mother is asking for volunteers in that area. She posts on it regularly. And if you are in the area, please reach out to her, even if it's if you can't search, possibly put out some signs in some local areas, just in the gas stations, some missing posters.
If you are in the area and you are, you know, Dylan Rounds is missing, and the family has asked people to back off and let the FBI do their job, then go Nat's tiny hair away and help Aidan Cunes' mom find her son. It's not that far away. She needs the help. If you're right there in the area, get on it and help her.
And, you know, there are a lot of people that have really stepped up to help Aidan's mother, and also Dylan's family as well. And people do that, and just know that they are still actively searching for Aidan Cunes in this area. And another thing that I wanted to bring up is Aidan's mother is a single mother. She's from California. So she has put up a GoFundMe page to pay for expenses to fly people in, the search expenses for them, even to fly and to stay and to search. So, you know, even if it's $5, $10, please, you know, it's bring Aidan Cunes home. And she does have a GoFundMe page, as well as her private Facebook page to help her.
A single mom and her
she's
only
very
child.
active. It's
Yes,
her only
single
child.
mom and her only child.
Right. So that is Aidan's story. You know, and also another thing I forgot to mention with Aidan's story is EquiSearch is coming in to help with drones on this case, as well as assisting with Dylan Round's case. So EquiSearch is in the area. There are also horseback. There's another search and rescue group with horseback. It might be EquiSearch. I know they have their drones. But again, you know, these groups are private groups. As we know, Michael at Peace River, who's our friend, Michael, they do everything via donations, and they don't charge the families anything. And
God bless them. God bless them.
I know
for
they're
what they do.
angels. They are earth angels, and they are fighting the elements out in the West, as well as like what Michael and those guys do down in the swamps. So that's Aidan's story. Keep his mother and Aidan in your prayers and their family. And next week, we have an exciting guest, don't we, Sheri Lynn?
Yeah, we do.
You can talk about him. I'll hold up his book, because my book is autographed, because Sheri Lynn got it autographed for me. So
I met Greg Lawson, who is an author, at the Sage Paracon at Belgrove Plantation. He is,
Here he is.
let's see.
Here he is.
Where
Here's
do
his
I
picture.
start? He has spent much of his adult life researching strange places, from the first Russian colony in Three Saints Bay, Alaska, to the pyramids of Egypt. He has explored paranormal hotspots in over 40 countries. Greg is a career law enforcement officer and international lecturer specializing in paranormal investigative techniques and the study of unusual occurrences. He is fantastic. What an awesome individual he is. And
Well, he will be, and he is in the UK. He will be here next week to visit with us and give us some information as far as law enforcement end of search and rescue and searching for the missing, as well as adding the paraforensic.
I just saw what he stuck in my book.
And you know, we have had Michael Ring from Cincinnati Paranormal Group, who Michael actually went on a search with me a couple years ago before the epidemic. Michael and I went on a case that people had asked us to help, and Michael utilized his paranormal equipment throughout the entire search. And not only did it was groundbreaking, because I had never seen any of this equipment. I didn't know it would help in a search, but boy, it did. And everything that Kirsty McIntosh's map from Australia, to my clues, to what Michael was getting from the paranormal equipment, took us all to the same place. And like I said, how would Kirsty know that from Australia? I didn't know it. I was not from that area. And Michael sure didn't. He was from Cincinnati. So this would be interesting to get Greg's take on combining the paranormal with helping for the missing, because I think it's really untapped. I think it could be, there's so many things that the paranormal community has, weapons, that can really help missing families. And I mean, Sherry Lynn does it with her applications that she uses. And I mean, how did that box and that the equipment that they use know about Aidan's case? It's not a coincidence. As is the astrology. It's all math. It's not a coincidence. So there are a lot of things that we can use to help a lot of these search and rescue groups, because look at this area they're searching in. They need help. And if astrology or paraforensic equipment can help them, I'm all for it. Who cares where it comes from, you know? As long as we can help. So Greg will be on next week. And then Sherry Lynn, who is in August. This is so exciting in August. Who do we have in August?
Jeanette Lucas, she is not only a psychic, but she is also a former private investigator. And she's found CNN, Nancy Grace, with the Nancy Grace case, Anthony case, Chandra Levy, Fox, Ghost Hunting. She's been written up in the Smithsonian, Washington Post, LA Times, Orlando Sentinel, and Huffington Post. So
she is a super psychic, super investigative psychic.
Yeah, I mean,
super psychic.
To do the private investigative work as well as the psychic work, she's combined the two, much like Greg with the paranormal and the law enforcement, lifetime law enforcement. And it's so amazing how these fields combine and work together. And I see more and more law enforcement agencies more open-minded about getting tips and info and going with it. Of course,
well, they are. They are. They are.
You got to
But
weed through some of them, like,
Well-
oh, well, I believe they were, they
Well,
painted
there's a-
themselves purple and climbed a tree and started eating bananas, no.
Well, the thing about it is, I've been in this a long time, years, decades, a long, long time. And at first, you had to prove yourself back in the 80s. And I'm not quite sure how old Jeanette Lucas is. I can't wait to meet her and talk to her. But, our cases go back to the 80s. And back then, they were very receptive to it. FBI used psychics back in the 80s. Then there came a flip where, no, they're crazy. Then now, when you have to try and prove it and prove yourself, and it's very tough because you have to handle yourself. These are real families. These are people.
Yeah.
These are their families, and you have to handle yourself as a professional that you are, and you go through law enforcement and you present it that way unless a family comes to you. If a family comes to you, you work with the family. But with that being said, no, but see what's happening now is there is a shift right now that everyone is a psychic and they are literally bombarding. And it happened in the Dylan Rounds case. It happened in the Summer Wells case where people are, like Sherry Lynn said, it's, well, she did this and she's here and she's there. Well, that's not how it works. And so now it's like, let's see what phase is coming next, because now it's beginning to lose a lot of the credibility that we have fought, and people that have been in the trenches very, very long. And we fought very hard to use what we have to help families. And when it's, I don't know what you'd even call what's happening now, but when the FBI has to tell people to please stop this, there's an issue. And law enforcement has to tell people to please stop this. So, we don't.
Cease and desist.
Yeah. And, with Aidan Cunes, this was clearly a situation where he had a psychotic episode. This is not like the Dylan Rounds case where this is an investigation where there was probably foul play. We did not and won't give out anything on that. But with Aidan Cunes, if these maps can help and information can help, let them use whatever they need, because that's what we're here for. But so we have to be very careful. And
if nothing else comes from this, I hope there is an Aidan's law that's created that if someone regardless of whether they are 18 or 65, if they have a history of having some mental issues, get rid of the stigma. If they have anxiety, depression, PTSD, whatever the case may be, get them help. If you notice something is different and they go off the beaten path, get them some help and make it an Aidan's law. And make it an Aidan's
and the thing
alert.
is, we need an Amber Alert system, and as Renee said, a mental episode alert on your phone, just like a silver alert or an Amber Alert, so that and there's
make it an Aidan alert.
And this was quite frankly an incident that I believe that was a medication issue, and so
bringing that up.
Come in handy.
Bringing that up,
So,
I can speak from personal experience. When you are not weaned on or weaned off of medication, and insurance companies say, we're not going to cover that, you got to go on this. Well, this does not have the same ingredients as that, and then you have a total adverse reaction to it, that is not helping the patient. And unfortunately, I have lost a couple of people who were on antidepressants that should have never had their medication changed. And
well, let's hope and
just
keep her in your prayers. So, Sherry Lynn, what do you? Our time is up. What do you have going on Monday night with Haunted Tales?
Monday night is going to be get ready for some horror.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you truck drivers. I'm not going to read from the book, but there's going to be a very freaky, scary trucker ghost story. It's going to be coming up on Monday night. So get ready. I will be doing Facebook Live and Blog Talk. So,
and then don't forget to tune in with Howie and Rhonda on Sunday.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Yeah, because I know you're not going to play the ad.
She's plugging my book. She's plugging my book. Well, you guys, thank you
Activating
all.
Your
I'm
Gift,
trying to
The
blow her
Prayers
off.
by Joni Skinner. Get yourself a copy. She's part of our Rift family, as well as Jeff and Shelley Presley.
Yes.
Mystery Case Files, Secrets of San Saba. Get yourself a copy. They're part of the Rift family. Shameless.
You're just Barnes and Noble tonight. You're being Sherry Barnes and Noble. So, well, everybody, thank you so much. Oh, and just another quick announcement. In August, I will be doing before Sherry Lynn's show, which is Haunted Tales, a weekly astrology. It'll be the celestial weekly forecast. So we will do an hour of astrology, learn basic astrology. We will go over things like fire signs and water signs and really basic astrology, because I think it's needed. Everybody wants it. It'll be a good time. And then we'll go over the transits for the week and what's ahead and what's ahead for all of us with the energy. So that's coming in August. So join us on Monday too. And then next week
we're gonna
welcome.
We're gonna skip Rift Nation this month, right?
Correct.
We're taking a break. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So those who are used to seeing us on the last Saturday of the month, go do something fun, because we're taking a break. Well, Joni preps
go out and
the
enjoy
show,
yourselves.
and we get all things ready for all kinds of new things coming up. Got lots of new shows coming up, and people getting their goodies together to get new shows going on Blog Talk, on the Rift Radio Network, and all over the place. So we're going to be, and I'll be at Bell Grove that weekend, so investigating.
So have a great weekend that weekend. We will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sherry Lynn.
Indeed.
Have a great, I'm looking for the end of show. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. Join us next week for Mr. Greg Lawson. It'll be a great interview with him. And the following week with Jeanette Lucas, she's checking to confirm her calendar. If not, we will be bringing you another case.
90 seconds.
So have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you next week. Stay safe. Good night.